This is Talk About Topeka on Gab Local TV and TV 25. This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room. And here's your host, Chris Schultz.
Well, we're back here for another exciting episode of Talk About Topeka, and we have a great show for you here coming up. And I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the segments that we have coming up here, because we're going to be visiting a few moments from our vault here, because we have done this show for a long time. We've really only been on TV 25. I think this is, Frank, isn't this our 13th episode on TV 25?
This is episode number 13.
Okay. Yeah. That's not episode number 13, but we have been doing this show for 4 years now. So back in 2013, it was November of 2013, we took our cameras out to the Kansas Neurological Institute, and I had never been out there before. Frank, have you ever been out there?
Oh yeah, we used to do an event out there with Mom and Dad years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd been out to the property, but I didn't really know what they did, and I wanted to find out a lot about what it was, a little more in depth than what was out there. And I feel like when people, haven't been there or maybe understood what they do, I feel like it might have been the importance of what they do might be lost. So only the people who really know, who've been touched by it firsthand, understand the value of what it does. And I have to say that from that interview, for years there have been talks, cuts of budgets, and all this back and forthness. And I wanted to make sure that people had something that they could go back to and see what it was really like over at the Kansas Neurological Institute. And boy, it was one of the segments that I think. We did a full episode and even a follow-up. And we're going to split that up, and we're going to start airing some of those segments throughout our episodes here, so you'll get little bits and pieces of stuff that we've done from our past, mixed in with some of the new interviews that we're doing here on Talk About Topeka and the Gab Local show here on TV 25. So you saw the whole episode, right, Frank? You remember that?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of my top favorites of the shows, yeah.
It is, and it was so nice at the time. I know the superintendent at the time was Barney Hubert, and he's since retired from there, but it was so nice of them to let us come in and just to experience it. And one of the things that you'll get to see in this is you will get to see my butt.
Okay, so on a side note, for K&I, I worked with their purchasing department several years back, when they had an access database that they were scared that was not going to upgrade when the Office versions upgraded.
Okay, are you speaking a different language now?
Anyway, some people understand. Anyway,
well, all three of the people out there,
right?
So I'm sure Brian from TV 25 understands, but I think there's maybe 3 other people that would.
No, but It's actually really kind of a cool thing. So I got to know this database, and I got to know their process, how they purchase, and they go between the different, transferring, just simple things like toilet paper and things between all of these different houses. Mm-hmm. The amount of work that goes into that, and the warehouse that they have to have, and it's just, they are all super, super nice people that work out there completely.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool. The Hidden Treasures Mall is something that it's open to the public. People can go out there and see, and it helps some of the residents kind of get some. Well, you're going to see it in the show. I'll just put it out there. You should check out the Hidden Treasures Mall if you haven't been out there to K&I, because that's what we're going to be focusing primarily on. But you're really going to get a good dose of what it's like for one of the residents in particular there. So we really hope you follow that series. And of course, if you want to watch the entire thing, you can get that on our website, gablocal.tv. Just search for the Kansas Neurological Institute, and it should bring that post right up for you. You can watch the whole thing there. But while you're watching here on TV 25, we're going to be showing you little bits and pieces, and we really hope you do enjoy that. Now, the other pieces we've got coming up on the show, we're going to be talking to some young creators, which I think are super duper cool. We've been working with them with Arts Connect, and really trying to love what they do, because they encourage creative people to be able to have places to present their creativity and to grow their creativity. And I have nothing but applause to offer to people who do that. So even if it's like Frank, and he thinks he's creative, but he's really not. So.
Well, I'm the smart creative one. You're the creative one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Also, we're going to be talking with Roger Moore. Actually, not my favorite. Well, he is Roger Moore, I think, is one of my favorite 007s, but it's a different Roger Moore that we're going to be speaking to today. We're going to be speaking to Roger Moore from the Topeka Community Concert Association. They're going to be having a concert coming up that they want to tell everybody about, and then at the same time, we're going to be maybe getting some information about their new season, but it's not released yet, but it's all coming around the corner, so we'll just have to see what we get. So all of that is coming up on this episode of Talk About Topeka here on gablocal.tv. Really, we hope you enjoy our KNI tribute and get out there and check out the Hidden Treasures Mall. I can't encourage you enough to do that. So don't go away. We have plenty more coming up. It's Talk About Topeka, and it's time. It's our 13th episode here on TV 25.
This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room, because TV 25 cares.